Welcome home.
Yeah.
We've arrived.
We have, but I tell you what, my Disney blues haven't hit me half as hard.
Yeah, and you know why?
Because we have another
Yeah.
trip.
Disney blues aren't as bad when you have another trip booked.
No, I think there is that, but also, like, I'll tell you now, my first, 24 hours upon returning, not good. I was in a deep, deep hole of misery and depression. And then, I saw the other side. And yeah, I have got hope. It's called a trip in May.
Oh my
So
goodness.
thank you for proposing that and bringing it to my
Thank
my
you
attention.
for proposing.
You're welcome.
How are you though, Stephen?
I'm fantastic. I'm really,
Yeah?
really good. Yeah, I'm just. Do you know what? I feel like I'm just happy, and I've just got loads of time on my hands. And maybe that's why I'm really happy. Like, you know, when people say time is money, like time is everything to me at the moment, and I've got so much of it. So it's
Yeah.
allowing me to just explore
It's
loads of
wonderful.
aspects. I get to kind of retry things that I've done before. I get to spend so much more time and love on the things that are really important to me. I
Yeah.
feel like I've probably been a better partner. So
Yeah, I mean, I can't sit there and say that you were a bad partner before in any way whatsoever.
thank you. Disclaimer: we're in a very happy relationship.
But I've noticed a difference in my mood since you've left teaching, which
That's
is
good.
interesting.
That's good.
Because
Now, don't get me wrong. I absolutely loved teaching.
oh yes,
And I know that I was.
you weren't a bad version of
No,
yourself
no,
at
no.
all.
No,
You're a different version now.
but it does weigh you down a little bit.
It's just a lot more freeing.
Yeah.
Like I feel like, especially on this trip, you felt like you could say and do more on the vlog,
Yeah.
and you never say anything bad anyway. But
No.
you're not sort of being like, oh, can I do this? Can I do that?
No, absolutely.
Because you're being watched.
No. But I'll be honest, it was very, very sad leaving teaching. It's been quite freeing doing what I'm doing now. So yeah, I've just got a lot of time and a lot of love and appreciation for life at the moment. So
Wonderful.
I cannot complain. How are you, Chloe?
I'm pretty good. I'm here in my merch corner. Sorry for making you choke on your tea
I tell you
nearly.
what, I did notice that as soon as you sat down, I was like, she has made very conscious decisions for this
I
podcast.
have. So if you're just listening, I will try and audio describe. But if you're watching,
Yeah.
you can just see we have this lovely.
I was going to say, you could pause the video right now and you could say, what's different?
Yeah, you
What's
could.
new?
There's some stuff up there, but I don't think you can see the stuff that's
No,
up
you
there.
can't see it up there.
But we have this lovely lamp.
This lamp is, I was very against lamp because I was like, why lamp? Whereas now...
Why lamp?
Why lamp?
I
Whereas
mean-
now, I'll be honest, I think it's so good for the ambient lighting
Yeah, I mean, right now you can't see it light up too much because it is.
because it is still lighted
We've
here.
got the big light on. I then have my lovely new jumper, which has got Saucer and Mickey on the back. I'm not going to stand up, but it has got a big Saucer and Mickey on the back and
And
a
I
Saucer and Mickey
do-
hat.
I do very much love it. I did also try and get this, but when I tell you the battle that we had for
Yes.
trying to get that hoodie for
It
all
was-
4 of us that were on that
Mhm.
trip, it was a nightmare. This thing was selling out
Yeah.
by 10 a.m.
Me,
every
Sophie,
single
and
day.
Harry have one, and Stephen does not. And there were multiple people who, like cast members, who were like, "Why don't you have one?" And he's like, "I tried."
It seemed like we got to the end of the trip and all of a sudden loads of people were noticing that I was the odd one out and they were like, why is that? And I'm like, it's not through choice.
No.
Oh, what
We
are
then
you
also have
subtly moving?
my Saucer and Mickey pillow hat, which does light up. If I put it on my head,
Wow.
does it look good?
No, not on your head,
Oh.
in your arms.
But
yes.
it's a lovely pillow. So now when I play Stardew Valley on my days off, I can get nice and cozy in my new jumper with my new lamp and my new pillow. And I also have got a weighted Mickey plush,
You do.
which is also, I'm not going to get that that's over the other side, but
it's
that
in the
is also
style of
lovely.
Steamboat Willie as well, which I
Mhm.
really like. Because I'll be honest, the one... I tell you what, Disney have done a couple of changes. And I'll be honest, a lot of the merchandise that involves Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse... Because we looked at getting a My First Mini for... one of our best friends, they basically just had a baby. All the colours are wrong.
Yeah, they're weird. They're strange. They're like off.
strange.
And like the weighted Mickey plush was like blue, not black.
Yeah, but it was like an off blue as well. It didn't make sense.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a Sauce or a Mickey blue. It was like a
No,
I
it
don't
was
know,
strange.
fluorescent blue.
Yeah, so I went for the Steamboat
Yeah.
Willie one, which is cool. The only thing is his hat is a little bit annoying.
What, the hat?
Like his hat.
Oh,
is
I
just
thought
a bit...
you were on about your
no,
hat. I was
no,
like-
no. His hat is just a bit too tall sometimes.
Yeah, no, I get it. It might knock you in the face here and there. But I think from a merch perspective, we had a really, really cool trip.
Yeah, I got a mug as well that matches this jumper. We also did a challenge, which will be going on the YouTube.
We
Actually,
did.
whilst we're on the subject of challenges,
Sure.
shall we talk about your challenge,
no.
Stephen?
Yeah. So we went into this whole trip wanting to do more adventure, more challenges. One of my adventures that I wanted to have was I knew that we were getting the refillable mugs. So I thought, do you know what? We're going to go to the Coke Freestyle machine. I'm going to try every single variety. I'm
Some
going
of
to try
you
and
may
get through
remember
as many
this
as
challenge.
possible.
Yeah.
However, turned up to Coronado Springs. Coronado Springs is one of the very few resorts at the moment that only seem to have like the standard sort of freestyles.
Yeah.
So in other words, you've got like maybe 8 different things that you
At
can
most.
have, not including obviously hot drinks. Whereas like a lot of the resorts, like Caribbean Beach, all of the deluxe resorts now, we noticed that with Grand Floridian has now
And
upgraded
Poly.
and Poly's upgraded. So they've all got the one that you kind of press the button and you can just have like a grape or a fruit punch or a lemon or a lime or a
You can have
vanilla.
10 different Powerades, 10
loads
different Cokes,
of different
yeah.
types. And my intention was to try them all. So I just like to make a public apology to every single person that I'm sorry I let you down.
You will not see that in the vlogs,
You will not see that. However, we do have more trips, and I endeavour that I will continue, and I will do it again.
But yeah, the
soon.
vlogs are starting to come out now. So the Travel Day vlog is already out.
Yeah, that's been
And-
live for a couple of days.
Yeah, we've had some lovely comments. So thank you all very much for those who have watched it.
Exactly. If you're new,
And-
welcome. Hi.
Yeah, and if you're not new, welcome back.
Welcome back. Welcome home.
Welcome home. And we've got day 1 going out this week, which will be about just under an hour long vlog.
Yeah, it's about a 45-minute hour vlog all about our sort of day at Magic Kingdom.
It
So
was a good day.
come along.
Enjoyed it.
It was really, really good.
So yeah, apart from being in my merch corner, I'm actually all right because
Good.
as of recording, I go away 2 weeks today.
Yeah, no, but we're not going to talk too much about that trip because it'll make me really jealous.
I'm going to the Maldives, everybody.
Yeah. Chloe won a trip with work, which basically means
Because
that
I
she gets
worked
to
very
jet set.
hard.
Because you worked incredibly hard,
Thank
actually.
you.
So well done.
And I get to go to the Maldives for a week and island hop.
Island hop.
Yeah.
You sound like a Kardashian.
I do get to island hop, go to 4 different islands, get a nice... I think I'll get across the 4 islands, I think I'm going to get beach villas and then I might get 1 water villa at the end.
Oh, you
But
are
that's
hard
where-
done by, aren't
That
you?
is where I want the water villa because the bathroom looks incredible.
Oh, yeah, it does.
And I just want to be able to have a bath and look over the ocean and have a great time
Yeah.
with my Kindle.
We can't do that at home, unfortunately.
No.
Yeah. Our area of living is quite landlocked.
Yeah,
Very
no, we
much
can't,
so.
can't do that. No.
Very much so.
Also,
We're
sorry,
not going to be answering any
we're
questions.
not. That's what I was about to say.
No.
I
Chloe
have
screwed
let
up.
you down. Stephen let you down with the challenge. I've let you
Yep.
down with the question. So this week's question will be the same as last week's question.
Yeah.
It all just got, like we said last week, the TVA were going to get involved. The timelines were all over the place. So,
Yeah, it was all very confusing. And
Yeah.
to be honest, welcome to Parks and Letdowns.
oh, no.
Because that's what we are.
No,
That's what we
we're
are, Chloe.
not.
Sometimes you have to
Oh.
face the reality of what we've
let the
become.
people down.
And we let the people down. So yeah. Anyway, in terms of today's episode, what we are focusing on is we wanted to do a bit of a trip recap in a way that was slightly more reflective, slightly different to how we've kind of just, let's just talk about a Disney holiday that we've had again. And we're trying to kind of vary things as much as possible. So
Yeah.
this time what we've done is we've both kind of made note of around 5 lessons that we've learned from this particular trip because
Stephen can't get out of the teacher
because
zone.
I can't get out the teaching zone and the teaching bubble.
Yeah.
And ultimately, there are a lot of kind of changes and differences for this particular trip. Before we do kind of get into that, I do want to kind of preface this with the time period that we went. So we've gone out of term time. So therefore, I want to say on the whole, it was reasonably quiet.
Yeah.
Like a little bit colder than we were kind of used to. We did arrive into Tampa, Florida because we flew
yeah.
there instead. And it was very, very stormy. Like to the point of you couldn't see sort of in front of the car in front of you. It was literally crazy.
Yeah.
But that being said, we went at quite an interesting time because virtual queue was ending.
Yes.
And that was one of the things I wanted to speak about before we kind of get into the lessons learned.
Okay.
Because I don't know about anyone else. If you were on Instagram, if you're on TikTok, if you're on Twitter, like whatever social media you're on, the internet was going crazy and saying, oh my God, my holiday's ruined. I'm going to have to buy lightning lanes and things like that. And it just, I'll be honest, do you know what it felt a little bit like? Like Chicken Little, the sky is falling.
Literally.
Like nobody knew what the experience was going to be.
Yeah, because don't get me wrong, there was a time where Guardians was like a 2-hour wait, but it wasn't very often. And really, I ended up waiting the same amount of time that I normally would in the virtual queue anyway. Like, you get your virtual queue time, you go back to the ride, and you still have to queue when you get there. And that queue is normally like 45 minutes to an hour. Guess how long we queued? 45 minutes to an hour.
Exactly.
So it wasn't, I don't think it was bad at all.
No.
Same with Tiana's, it wasn't bad.
Tiana's was a massive surprise because everyone was kind of expecting all of these rides to float around sort of 2-3 hours. It was going to be crazy. I think we queued like 25 minutes for Tiana's on day one.
Yeah,
and that was the first day that
quite grey that
had
day
gone.
and chilly. So
it was chilly, but then again, we rode it. We rode it again, and I'm pretty sure we didn't wait over an hour.
Yeah, we didn't, which is crazy. So I was also going to say that we're not talking about the quick service dining plan much this episode because we've got a whole episode about it next week.
Yeah, we might mention it kind of briefly. And give like a sort of maybe 30-second summary on what we thought about it. But next week's episode...
If you're here for the facts and figures and want to know
if you want to know how much money was spent...
on margaritas.
Saved, how much was consumed, what we liked, what we didn't like, everything like that, then tune in next week.
And our recommendations.
We're going to go crazy on that one.
Yes.
So, yeah, apart from the expectations being kind of very, very high for virtual queue and then everything actually being really, really calm, all was good.
Yeah.
I think there was. I think on the whole thing of wait times as well. Like I don't normally. I mean, I've never been able to because of obviously my commitments to teaching.
Yeah.
But I've never really looked outside of term time. Go outside of term time if you can. Like because 100% I think I noticed more than I've ever noticed. We were trying to document this trip as much as possible. One of the things was actually looking at queue times, how much it's posted at versus how much it was. I think on the whole, everything was so much less than what we were expecting.
Yeah.
There were very few times where it was higher than what it was posted as. And that really kind of surprised me, to be honest.
Yeah.
So do you want to start with one of your lessons that you've learnt from this trip?
Yes, I'll start with a lesson that I've learned. I feel like you've learnt this too.
I mean, it might be on my list.
It's a joint lesson.
Sure.
I don't think it's going to be on your list, but that's okay. My lesson learned is that you can take a break out of the park without having a nap. Like, enjoy the pool is my lesson learned.
Okay.
Because I went back to the hotel a few times and I had one nap this entire trip, everybody.
I thought you were going to say one margarita. I'm like, you're a goddamn liar.
I had one nap.
Yeah.
Which normally I nap every day. But we did go back to the hotel still. And we went to the pool, went in the pool, just sunbathed by the pool. And that was the perfect little break before going to the parks in the evening. So I've learned that I don't have to take a break in the form of a nap.
I think one of the things that I'm going to kind of add on to that with one of mine was just taking things a little bit slower in terms of actually, it is a holiday. So as much as we were kind of going quite frantically, I'll be honest, I don't know anyone who doesn't sort of spend those first 4 days, bashing through the parks and kind of doing everything that you kind of want to do. But we did actually kind of take time out of our day to go, do you know what? The resort is lovely. We really want to explore that. We want to make sure that we're enjoying all the amenities that are available.
And we'll speak about Coronado Springs quickly, I think, because as a resort, we hadn't stayed there before. We hadn't visited that resort before. It was. I really liked it, actually.
I was mixed about it. And I'll be completely honest with you. I even made a pros and cons list of the whole thing because what is life without a list?
Can I tell you my views as a travel agent?
Go on then.
Okay. I would happily stay there again. I would actually, in my order of how I like resorts, I would put it as Caribbean Beach, still top or moderate. Then I'd put Coronado. Then I'd put Port Orleans.
Okay.
And I think it's because Coronado is a little bit more adult. There wasn't much Disney theming. Now, I like a bit of Disney theming, but I could take it or leave it at Disney Resort. I don't need it. Sophie didn't like the resort in that sense where it didn't have much Disney, but she still liked the resort. I thought the buses were good the majority of the times. Only 1 or 2 times that the buses weren't great, but also...
Can I chime in?
Yeah.
I was going to say buses, I felt as if they were the most unreliable that I've had while I've stayed on property.
Yes, but I also think when you stayed on property, you stayed deluxe a lot of the time, Stephen.
True. No, I agree.
And Caribbean Beach is, I think, that's the one you can compare it to.
Yeah.
But then when you can compare it to Port Orleans, I think Coronado is still better.
Yeah,
Transport.
I'm going to kind of agree, even though I haven't done the Port Orleans. But I think one thing to note, if you are staying at to be fair, a lot of the moderate resorts is the bus is not just pick up at the front of the hotel, like with like your Rivieras and a lot of the deluxe
This is just
resorts.
at Coronado and Caribbean.
Yeah. So one of the thing with those two is that it kind of does a bit of a circle round.
Mm-hmm.
So depending on where you're positioned, so we were positioned at bus stop 4. Now that didn't always mean that it went 1, 2, 3, 4 and then went to the park. It kind of went 2, 3, 4
1.
and then to 1, which was the front of Gran Destino Tower, and then kind of came. Now, there were a couple of times where maybe a bus had kind of not come for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And because the bus hadn't come for a while, it basically
The
meant
next
that
bus was really busy.
the first 2 buses, as in like the first 2 stops, completely filled up the bus. And basically, if the bus is
But
full...
I think that happened to us once.
It happened twice.
Okay, well, twice over 11 nights. I've had far worse at like...
No, I agree.
All-Stars where like you can't get on the bus at all. And that's the thing. Like with Port Orleans, with the one stop, if a bus doesn't come, you're still going to be in the same situation where you're not all going to fit on the bus.
Yeah.
So for me, that wasn't really a factor. It was just more the resort. I found it overall quieter around the resort.
I thought it was a really... This was one of my pros, actually, is I thought, actually... the kind of overall cleanliness and feel that I got from the resort. Yes. I think that's why I wanted to spend more time at the resort, was because I actually felt quite calm and relaxed there.
I really enjoyed the quick service. I thought the amount of offerings they had was great. You had pizza, pasta, salads, chicken tenders, loads of different options, meat carving stations, all this stuff. Yeah. That was good.
And it was open very, very late as well.
And then just the Destino Tower itself was lovely. It gave you that bit of deluxe feeling with the games outside on the grass, like the Riviera and that kind of stuff. So I would stay there again. I wouldn't recommend it for those with young children, though.
Yeah, my thing was going to be, I'm looking at like when we've done our pricing episodes before, where we've looked at sort of like your deluxe and your moderate. There isn't a massive necessary difference between, you know, some of the values, some of the moderates and some of the deluxe, to be honest. My argument the whole time was that because I like the luxury of having the Skyliner and being able to connect, I would see, now I'm thinking about it.
Well,
I think while I was there, because I wanted a bit more convenience with the transport, I would stay at Pop Century over Coronado. Now that I've come back and reflected on it, I think I actually would rather stay at Coronado, but that just tells me that Caribbean Beach is my baby, and I'm going to love her to the end of the earth.
Depends on the kind of trip you're doing. If we're doing a quick trip, if we're doing a week, Pop Century. If we're doing more than a week, Coronado.
Yeah.
Unless we can do Caribbean.
But I think it's another thing that we debate over and over again. How much time do you actually want to spend at the resort? Yeah. If you know that it's just going to be a hotel room and you're looking for the most convenience to sort of travel around, then absolutely go for something like Pop Century. However, if you are looking to enjoy the resort a little bit more, 100% I would sell Coronado. Like the newly refurbished rooms were kind of beautiful.
You'd sell it.
I would. Buy Coronado.
You're coming for my job.
Exactly. I am coming for your job.
No, but I think although you could stay there with family, there's nothing wrong with it. It is obviously family friendly. There, I just feel like it's more designed for adults in a way where the theming isn't as Disney.
But I also felt like at times...
the play area is really good,
It almost felt, I'm going to be honest, I think it felt a little bit corporate at times.
It is a conference hotel.
It is a conference hotel, but I saw so many people at conferences that I was like, am I at Disney or am I at like a work do?
Yeah.
I'll be honest, that's what I got a couple of times,
to be honest.
So, not really. I wish I was don't get me wrong, I wish I was the person that was at the corporate do and spending my time at Disney, but yeah, I think there was a slight corporate feel. One thing I will kind of really push is Three Bridges as a bar. Like we had the Sangria flight.
I met Joe Rohde.
Chloe met Joe Rohde because I spotted Joe Rohde and I was too scared to go up.
And I went, this is my moment to meet an Imagineer, and not just an Imagineer.
The Imagineer.
A big Imagineer. And I went, up I go. And I acted like I was going to the toilet and on my way stopped to say hello.
Yeah.
But really, I didn't need to go to the toilet, so I just went into the bathrooms and stood there for a moment.
Stood there for a bit and came out.
Then came out again.
The things we do.
It was great. Yeah.
Yeah.
I shook the man's hand. I looked at his ear.
He was... That's all you do is stare at his earlobe.
I just need to look at his ear.
The whole time.
And you know what? It
What
doesn't
was it
look
like in the flesh?
not as
Not as droopy?
not as big as it looks on the Imagineering story, but I also think he had less earrings in. I think he went
Yeah.
full out for that.
I
Whereas-
reckon he's retired now. Because he's retired now, he was doing like some consultancy stuff,
Yeah.
which is why he was with like a big private group. Which I'm glad you got in. At
I
the
just
time
heard
that you
you
did.
go, "Oh my god, it's Joe Rody."
I went, "Oh my god, that's Joe Rody. That's Joe Rody. Joe Rody." And then Chloe was like, Chloe had like a sangria at this point, so she was just like,
I'm going.
I'm gonna say hello to him." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
But yeah, no, Three Bridges is great.
Yeah.
Loved it.
The sangria flight, really, really nice.
Service was fantastic.
Actually, with the sangria flight, I know that a lot of people tend to have it and they don't like all of them. I actually quite enjoyed all of them.
Yeah, there was
Some are
definitely
stronger
we had
than
like
others,
our
and some are more
favourites and our least
pleasant.
favourites, but
Mm.
I can't sit there and say I hated all of them,
No,
any of them.
no. I think if you are going as a couple or a group of adults, Coronado Springs is a
Yeah.
great resort for you.
Chips and dip. It was
Who
lovely.
doesn't like that?
It was lovely.
Those dips were phenomenal
They
as
were
well. I
really,
can't even
really
remember
good.
what ones we ended up having, to be honest.
We had the corn, the guacamole, and also the cheese dip.
Oh, the cheese dip was
Mhm.
so good.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
Anyway, your turn, Stephen. I've done a lesson learned. Time for you to share a lesson learned.
Okay, I'm going to say one of my lessons that I learned was that actually I thought, I'll be honest, I went into it with some apprehension just because it was slightly further out. But
Okay.
actually, I thought Tampa was an excellent option.
Thank you.
A really,
Thank
really
you so
excellent
much.
option.
You're preaching to the choir here, sir, because I am a big fan of Tampa. Yes, it is a bit further away.
Mm-hmm.
Getting to Tampa from Disney when you need to for the flight back to London, it is a bit of an annoying time. It will take you about 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
But from the airport to Disney, about an hour and a half drive.
Yeah.
But oh my goodness, security. You just through it so quickly.
Yeah.
The flight itself and both ways.
I almost didn't believe you.
Yeah.
I know you have to like experience things
Mhm.
to make sure that it kind of sinks in. But Chloe was like, "Oh, security will be so much quicker." Like, let's face it, everyone has gone through MCO security and they've maybe waited anything from half an hour to an hour.
Hour and a half I've waited
Like
for.
sometimes even longer. Tampa, when I tell you that is one of the most efficient, quickest securities I've ever gone through. It was like coming home. You know
Yeah.
when you come back to Heathrow and you're just doing the automatic thing and you're through.
It was
like,
like that.
We were done
speed-wise.
and dusted so quickly. And I think when you add up all your time, probably from plane hitting tarmac, there's maybe like 15-20 minutes in it from Tampa to MCO involving all your travel to your Disney resort.
I mean, our flying out was quite quiet.
yeah,
And then
very
flying
quiet.
home, it was pretty much a full plane. But also, noise level. Did I find the Tampa flight itself a quieter flight?
I actually managed to sleep, which
Yeah.
again I haven't thought about up until this moment.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's a
I never
quieter
ever
flight.
sleep.
I
But I almost feel like what's quite nice is because it's a later flight. I think you end up flying at about 10 p.m.
mhm.
It's a bit of an awkward one when you land because you're kind of landing and maybe
At 8
getting home.
p.m.
Yeah, you're getting home about. No, I meant
Oh,
you're getting
coming
home
home.
at about 8 p.m. No,
No.
you're getting home at about sort of midday,
Yeah.
and that kind of throws you for the jet lag. To be
Mhm.
honest,
And flying
but-
out to Tampa, you don't land to Tampa till about 7 or 8ish, so you're
Yeah.
not going to get that first night. But it means that you get the full last day
Mhm.
in Orlando, which is lovely. If you can fly into Orlando for the same price as Tampa, fly into Orlando because then you're there. But Tampa, one, if it's cheaper, amazing,
Yeah.
because it's gonna be so quick. So
It's all about adding up the cost. To be fair, like
Mhm.
if you know that you can get like a decent Uber and it might cost you like $100 there and back. If you know that you're going to save 1,000 plus on your flights by going to Tampa, from us, strongly recommend. And that was a
Mhm.
lesson that I learned, is that I will now be open to MCO or going to
I
Tampa.
think there's maybe like a family of 6, and I remember like it was about £3,000 cheaper altogether for them to fly to
100%
Tampa.
do it.
And I was like,
you might as well go Tampa to Disney World in a limo.
yeah,
'cause of
I
the
was
amount
like,
you saved.
I was like, please just go, especially if you're doing car hire as well. Like it.
Oh, absolutely.
Why wouldn't you? So yes, we will be flying to Tampa again
Sounds good.
because it's great.
What's
Thank
another
you.
lesson that you've learned?
A lesson I learned is actually one we've already spoken about, so I'm going to quickly just touch on that
Well,
again.
what was it? Yeah.
It was about the wait time, saying wait times, take them with a pinch of salt. The
Mm.
majority of the time working in your favour. There were a few times on this trip where we saw the wait time and we were like, oh, fine, we'll queue it. And it was always shorter. The biggest one being at Universal.
Yeah.
Velocicoaster, 115 minutes. Hagrid's 120. We looked at each other and went, right, we're only going to get one of these rides done today. Which one do we want to prioritise? And we went, Velocicoaster. We also both took a book with us,
Yeah.
which sounds like we don't want to speak to each other.
No.
We do.
Reading in the queue passes time like no tomorrow.
So quickly. So I had my Kindle, you had your book. I don't know what that was about.
Oh, I was reading Shoe Dog, which is all about the guy who started Nike.
I'm reading a fantasy book about vampires and werewolves falling in love.
Yeah.
So
It's like Twilight, only better.
so we were reading our books, and by the time we got to the lockers, we were like, we've only been here like
Yeah, it was like 45 minutes by
minutes.
the locker.
And we got through, and then we realised it was like an hour wait in the end, not 115. So we were like, incredible. But we then got to go and do Hagrid, which again dropped to about 85 minutes.
Yeah, it was about 85 or 90 by the time that we got there, and we went, do you know what, we're just going to wait it. We didn't even think we were going to be able to get on it because we were only doing one day
So
at
we were
Universal.
like, brilliant, let's go on it. Again, an hour. Then we did Flight of the Hippogriff,
So
and then
good.
we did Forbidden Journey. So actually, we did the whole of Islands of Adventure in
Yeah.
one day.
Which is
So,
crazy.
Wait times, they worked in our favour. That being said, it doesn't work for everybody, but
Do you think wait times were lower in general, as in like compared to what they're posted as, because we were out of season? Because I think I noticed it way more than normal. Like, so we're going again in May, we're going again in September, so not really any peak periods. But I'd be really interested if anybody has gone like in summer, in Easter, like. Can you just take note of like how long it actually took you versus the
May's
wait times?
gonna be
Because I
more
think it was
peak
maybe
than-
because of Feb.
May's going to be more peak than February, so it'll be interesting to see in Feb how it works.
Yeah.
But then,
We're crunching the numbers, so you don't have to.
yeah, although in May we do have an express pass for Universal, so it'll be very interesting to see how much
We
we
will
can
not
get
be
done
crunching the numbers.
in one day. How many times can I ride Velocicoaster in one day?
I mean, I'm gonna tell you now. I would like to set us a challenge. When it comes
Okay.
to that May trip, I would like to see if we can ride every single ride that is possibly open across Universal and Islands in a day.
Okay.
That's what
I'm
I'd
so
love
down
to do.
for it.
I would love to do it. I don't know how many rides that is.
But
I'll find out
the only
for you.
thing is I
but-
do need to take a break during that challenge to go back to our room for our club level food.
That's
'Cause
fine.
it's free food.
That's
so.
fine. And I think, yeah, if we time that right, that should be really, really good. But we'll
think
do
it's so
we'll do like a
doable.
proper review of like what the express pass is like anyway, compared
Yeah.
to everything else.
So that was
Cool.
one of my lessons. Your next lesson?
Right. I mean, I did want to give a really, really quick shout out to the Disney dining plan
Okay.
because I don't think I've
Shout out to the Disney Dining Plan.
shout out to you.
You're great.
So I don't think I'd given it much consideration, but my short and sweet, I was pleasantly surprised by what the Disney Dining Plan had to offer and how easy it made my life. I don't want to say too much more because we're going to go into
No.
loads more detail, but I was pleasantly surprised by the Disney Dining Plan and it will be considered in future.
Okay. You
That's all
are
I'm
really
gonna
keeping
say.
your cards close to your chest there, aren't
I
you?
am. Cards
Okay.
hidden.
Mine is also kind of dining related. Always mobile order where possible.
Yeah.
And now I can't say this was a new lesson learnt, but I think this was the most I ever mobile ordered. Probably because I was eating the most I ever have in Disney.
I reckon we mobile ordered 90% of the time.
Yeah, but the only time we didn't mobile order is when we weren't able to mobile order.
Yeah.
If there wasn't the option to mobile order, we weren't doing it. If there was the option, I was doing it.
Yeah, and mobile ordering does give you the option to like pick a time slot, so you don't have to be like, oh my god, I'm mobile ordering, I have to go there now. But actually, we found so many times that you could be in a queue for a ride and you know you're about to go on it, you know you want food straight after, so you put through the mobile order and then you just click the button, I'm here, when you're actually there.
Yeah.
You're normally waiting, I think maximum we waited was maybe like, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah, I can't remember where the longest one was. Tuli Canteen was quite a while, but it was very
Yeah.
busy. I remember ordering a I Love You float in the tiki room. Like
Yeah.
actually in the tiki room.
How
I was
fitting.
Like, I know, it was wonderful. So yeah, I think it just makes it so much easier. And actually mobile ordering with the dining plan, again, they've made it so easy. So mobile order for the win.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to go for another one. Like I've written a little bit of a headline for this one. So I've gone for old favourites and new surprises because I think this trip for me and this whole year, as I've kind of elaborated before, is all about new experiences. I want to try as many new things as I possibly can. And there are things that I'm obviously going to keep going back to, but then there are other things that I just want to try. So for me, starting on...
As Shakira said, Giselle. Try everything.
Shakira and Giselle, the same person?
Try everything.
going to stop.
Try
Can I stop you there?
everything.
Thank you. Right. So, so for me, starting at Crystal Palace, loads of people have said it to us before. Like, go to Crystal Palace on your first morning. Oh my God.
I've said it to you
What
before.
a wonderful, wonderful breakfast.
Yeah.
Like, I think if you are more of a fan of sweet treats over savoury, Crystal Palace is 100% for you.
The churro
Because
Mickey
the
waffle.
churro Mickey waffles,
I heard about them.
I just want to take a moment now and think about them again, and their sugary glaze,
Mm-hmm.
and just that crunch and the softness in the middle. And actually, what's really, really clever is they put them right next to the soft serve. So in other words, what we kept doing was we kept getting a bowl and putting like 1 or 2 Mickey waffles
With
and
some
then
ice cream.
get some soft serve ice cream. I think
You'll see it in the vlog.
like I literally ended up eating until I physically couldn't eat anymore because I just kept enjoying the food so much.
I was not well for a good hour after eating. But in a
I
good
think
way.
I think you can see it in the vlog, like the fact that we're both like.
After eating, we all looked
everybody
so
is just,
like,
everybody's
whoa,
just struggling, and I don't think we actually ate again that day.
until
Bear in
dinner.
mind, bear in mind we finished at maybe 10:30. We didn't eat again until like 6 o'clock.
No, and
So
I had a
it's-
side.
So
And that was it.
So I always think there's something to be said about having a dining in your day, and if it is a buffet, you can almost write the day off for food.
Mm-hmm.
In like the best sort of way. I think saying that, when I say, I don't know, old favourites and new surprises, one of our old favourites is Steakhouse 71. Steakhouse 71, we probably had the worst service that we've ever experienced at Disney.
Mm-hmm.
And that really, if anything, put a bit of a dampener on that experience.
Yeah, it put
I
me
still
off it,
thought
which is annoying.
I still
The food
thought
was
everything
great.
was great.
And the price I still
food-wise.
thought was good because my grilled cheese pork belly thing was like still $17, which is the same as quick service. But the service was just
Yeah,
wasn't-
like we literally had this server, and this server at one point kind of came over to us, and he's kind of rushing about anyway because they have to stay on top of a lot of things.
they've
over
got a
there.
lot going on. But
Yeah.
he came over and was like, "Where are you guys from?" And I was like halfway through saying England, and he walked away.
Yeah,
And then he
It-
came over to fill up the
it almost
waters, and he
felt-
filled up just Harry's and no one else's, even though Sophie's were like stone empty.
but it
like-
almost felt as if they didn't care. It felt as if they were kind of going through a script of like,
yeah.
oh, go to table, ask this. Oh, new table, say these words. Okay, have you dined before? Da 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 da. So I think we ended up giving the lowest tip that we will always tip regardless. It has to be
Absolutely.
awful for us not to tip. But I think we gave the lowest
But
percentage.
you know
tip
when
that
like
we've
someone asks you a
given
question,
before.
but they're not actually looking at you, they're looking around the room, and you're like,
Yeah.
you're not actually not talking to me.
You're not listening.
No.
Why are you
so
not listening to me?
So yeah, that was a bit annoying, but
I was slightly disappointed and frustrated by
Okay.
that experience, to be honest.
yeah.
But that being said, we said about the Three Bridges and Sangria flight. That was fantastic. Oh my God. Let's talk a little bit about the Polite Pig. Oh.
You sure want to talk about it now and not next week?
I mean, right, Polite Pig. The only thing that you need to know from me is...
Layla's ribs.
Oh.
That's all you need to know.
That's all you need to know. Oh.
Layla's ribs.
And
Say it
actually,
again. Layla's ribs.
Layla's ribs.
No, you say the noise. Layla's ribs.
Oh.
There you go.
There you
That's that's what it is.
Thank you. Yeah, the other thing that I was actually going to say, because again, we were trying new experiences, but we were also going back to things that we haven't experienced. We did Tiana's on the first day with Sophie and Harry, who had never experienced it before. That ride is really growing on me.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a little bit of an effect like Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. I was really disappointed when it changed over. I absolutely adore that ride now. I think every single time that I ride Tiana's, I enjoy it that little bit more. So I think I'm getting some love. I still don't think it's going to fill the Splash Mountain sized hole in my heart.
No, I'm not rushing to it every time I go to the parks.
No, but
I
I
still
think
enjoy
if
going on it.
if it's a warm day and I see that it's a reasonable wait, and I mean like under an hour, I will
I'll do it.
absolutely queue for it because I think it's still a great ride.
Lovely.
Yeah. And the other thing that I was going to say in terms of old experiences that I still enjoy, honestly, the music from Illuminous is just spectacular.
Oh, it was lovely. But I used to really like Illuminations, which
Yeah.
was like very similar-esque style.
No, I just there are so many like renditions of songs
Mm-hmm.
within that Epcot fireworks show that just, I don't know, they take me to a different place. It's transformative, it's beautiful, it's vibrant, it's soft. I just love everything about that show, and it really touches me. It's great.
Lovely. I only have one more lesson learned.
Go on then.
Because my other one was about Tampa, and we discussed that already.
That's fine.
This lesson learned sort of relates to you, Stephen.
Okay.
And it's if you see something you like.
If you see something that doesn't look right, speak to a member of staff.
If you see like either clothing or something that's selling out quite quickly, and you see that there's just one of your size left, and you really like it, just get it. Because one, you can always return it. You can always take it back the next day if you don't actually want it. But two, you could spend the rest of your trip wishing you got it.
I think I'd imagine a lot of people get like that. Like, we ended up, because we spent quite a bit of time in the Emporium on day one, we were kind of making like a shopping list as we were heading through. And don't get me wrong, there were a few things that I wanted and I ended up getting in the end. But yeah, if you want something and it's available, you don't know what it's going to be like, because there can often be hordes of people outside the Emporium, World of Disney, things like that. So just be prepared to kind of grab it if you want to. But again, I always feel a little bit weird doing loads of shopping at the start of the trip. I like saving the shopping for the end, so it kind of goes against my routine.
Yeah, no, I get that. I agree, but you snooze, you lose.
Well, in this case, I did.
Yeah.
And I snoozed.
Yeah.
And I loosed.
Yeah. But that's my lessons learned.
Well, I've lived with it, to be fair. The other thing that I was going to say, actually, is my final thing, and I think it's sweet, it's simple, and it's something that I'm just going to keep carrying with me.
Golden syrup. Sweet and simple.
Yeah. There's
Gonna
lots of things that
carry
are
it with
sweet
you.
and simple.
You can do all three of those things with golden syrup.
Who carries golden syrup with them? Do you do it?
No, Winnie the Pooh does honey.
Why don't you practice what you preach then?
I should.
Yeah.
I really should.
There
Continue.
you go. I think it's just the fact that, like, Disney World, Universal, Orlando, it's just enjoyed better with friends and family and just other people. And I think that's taken me a while.
Thanks, Stephen.
What?
Jeez.
What?
Sitting there saying I'm not good enough
No,
to go on a Disney trip with.
I'm saying you are absolutely the reason that I go all the time, and I want want you by my side every single time. But I think this time, I just took so much more time to enjoy the fact that I was with people that I love and care about, and yeah, like had a wonderful time with Sophie and Harry, and obviously you. Because I think one of the things that we also tried to do is actually add that variety to the trip. So it was very much like we would use like a wheel to decide who was going to be sitting with who. And I think that works really, really nicely so that you get different experiences, and it's not always like, oh, because we're together, we always have to be sitting together for rides. So I think a randomizer is a really good way. It just meant that we were playing loads of like really random games in the
played some great games in the
queue.
queues.
Like, what was your favourite game in the queue?
Oh, the one I did like, we didn't play it much, but I wish we did, was one we played in the queue for Tron, where like you get a number between 1 and 100, and it's like a percentage. So you've got to figure out what percentage everyone is along like a ride. So we did like Tiana's Bayou, and like my number was like, I think my number was like 26. So I was like, okay, I am where Veggie Lewis is on the ride.
Yeah.
And then we've got to figure out what order we all go in.
Yeah, and I think I was maybe like a 78 or something. So I was trying to say like, oh, I'm really miniature and maybe going up a climb.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What was your favourite game?
That was a really fun one. I really, really like. It's a simple little drama game. It's literally just like tell a story, but you're all allowed like one word at a time.
That was a good one.
And I tell you what, we were playing that in the queue for Rise of the Resistance, and we just had the most ludicrous things that we were coming out with.
Stupid stories.
So silly, but again, it just makes time pass so much quicker. And like, let's face it, nobody likes queuing. Like, the British are known for it, but actually, it's the most boring aspect. Yeah. So, you know, make time go a little bit faster with it.
Read
to
a
be
book
honest.
or play a game.
So, but who else did we also bump into, which was lovely?
Vicky and Danny.
Vicky and Danny from Roll On Holidays.
Yeah.
So
that was so lovely. Oh.
I think it was more so because we had them on the podcast, and loads of you have listened to it. Like, they're such wonderful people. We knew that they were out there at the same time as us, and they were in Epcot the same day. So we were like, let's meet up, you know, even if we just have a little wander around. Like, turns out that they'd both never done Frozen.
Yeah.
So we ended up queuing for Frozen. Like, time absolutely flew by. We went on that ride, got a great photo out of it. Ended up being with them for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. And I was just like, this is why it's lovely to be in this community, is that you just get to meet loads of wonderful people that share the same ideals as you. And yeah, we're starting to make a real nice habit of it, of
I
like
love it.
being out there and there being other people.
We should try and see if we can
Yeah.
see if anyone's out there in May.
I think I'd love for there to be someone out there in May. I'd love there to be people out there in September. Give us a shout.
Yeah.
Because it's great fun.
It's
lovely to
It
meet
is
up.
lovely to see people.
But again, I think there are things that I'm
Ooh.
going to keep the same.
And your new Parks and Pals t-shirt. We've got to wear those.
Oh yes, we got Parks
Yeah.
and Pals t-shirts. So thanks a lot, Laura.
Yeah, I
They
love them.
they looked absolutely fantastic. We'll make
Mhm.
sure that there's a few pictures on the Instagram
Yeah.
of those. We might make them available.
If people want them,
If
you
people
want
them,
them? You want the
You
t-shirt?
gotta let us know because otherwise we don't know.
Yeah, otherwise we won't know. So yeah.
Otherwise we'll just wear them
Keep wearing our own t-shirts.
all the time.
Disclaimer, you will not be getting the t-shirt we have worn. It will just be
No.
a
And
nice
and if
fresh
you do want
t-shirt.
that, then
That is extra.
That's really worrying. That's a bit extra.
That's extra, yeah.
No, I think overall from this trip, like, there are things that I feel like my plans gradually adapt as we go through. Like, I love a good, like, frantic 4 days, smashing out the parks as much as possible. But then I think we ended up trying so many new experiences. Like, we ended up doing Animal Kingdom because we were so exhausted after doing so many rides at Universal and Islands of Adventure. We ended up just doing the Wilderness Explorer
Yeah.
Trail. Like, there's lots of things to try. Go on.
Just us being like, I can't ride
I can't
another
ride
ride.
another ride. I ride it out.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just a great trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to remind people of what the question was?
Yeah, so this week's question is going to be the same as last week's question. Very sorry, please don't come for me. I am going to put it up on the Instagram for you all to enter your answers. But the question is, how many triangles make up the Epcot ball?
Yeah. And if you're out there right now,
Count them.
count them for us.
Yeah, and also, if you're out there when we're out there and you want to know some facts about Spaceship Earth, we can write it together.
Yeah.
Because I was taught facts by our friend Dylan, and I can
Yeah.
pass them on to you.
And also, we are that annoying couple who will just tell you random facts as you go around the park.
Unless you don't want that. then
Unless
we
you don't
won't.
want that, in which case we'll ask you, how are you? What's your favourite colour? And
Still
various
annoying
things like that.
questions.
Still annoying questions, but more about you than the park.
But we hope you will have a lovely week.
It's been a week.
Okay, has it?
No, it hasn't.
No, it
really.
hasn't. But,
hasn't
but
really
you
been
know
a
what? We
week.
still deserve to chill.
We deserve to
That's
chill
why.
because, let's face it, it is Sunday night.
Oh, yeah. That's
That's
the only reason.
That's it. There is no other reason. Anyway,
We'll see you all next week.
we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
We can cry when it's over.